The 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous.
Yeah, we are. The idea is to unpack each one, look at the details, but more than that, how do you actually use them day to day?
Right. We're drawing from the basic text, the step working guide, and it works. How and why. Trying to get really practical insights for your recovery journey.
And look, it doesn't matter where you are with this. Maybe you're just curious. Maybe you're right in the middle of working the steps, or maybe you've been around a while and just want to, refresh your understanding.
Exactly. We want this to be helpful, not overwhelming. Because these steps, they're really the heart of NA, aren't they?
They absolutely are. They're the structure, the sequence of, well, spiritual ideas and actions that help bring about real change in how we think, how we act.
Guiding people from, frankly, what feels like a hopeless place towards real recovery, healing, growth.
And it all kicks off with step one, which sounds simple, but there's a lot packed in there.
Okay, let's get right into it then. Step one.
Step one. We admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. So two core things here.
Powerlessness and unmanageability.
Right. Truly admitting you couldn't control the drugs no matter what. And admitting your life was, well, chaos because of it. It's got to be more than just saying the words.
It's that gut level thing.
Yes. Facing the truth. No more dodging it.
And that admission, it feels like the first real step towards, well, towards hope, maybe.
Definitely hope and help. It's realizing your own way wasn't working and maybe, just maybe, being willing to try something else. The texts call it a profound gift.
A gift. That seems counterintuitive when you're admitting powerlessness.
But think about it. The gift is freedom from that compulsion, that constant mental fight. Admitting you can't win that fight on your own actually opens the door to real strength.
Strength through surrender.
Kind of. Strength through acceptance, honesty, humility, and actually reaching out for help, letting go of the illusion of control.
So the big spiritual principles here are honesty.
Yeah, first fact of honesty, really. With yourself, seeing things as is.
Surrender.
Letting go of those reservations, being willing to try the NA way.
Acceptance.
Deep acceptance of the reality of addiction.
And humility.
Yeah, letting go of thinking you were running the show.
You mentioned reservations. That comes up a lot in the texts related to denial.
It's crucial. Denial keeps us stuck. Step one starts breaking that down. But reservations are sneaky. They're the bits we don't fully surrender.
Like thinking, okay, I can't do that drug, but maybe this one's okay.
Exactly. Or thinking you'll go to meetings, but still planning to use later.
Right.
Or keeping old contacts. The texts are blunt. Holding reservations is reserving a place for relapse.
Wow. Like keeping one foot out the door.
Pretty much. Which is why step one isn't a one and done thing.
Right. It's ongoing.
Totally. You revisit it. Powerlessness might show up in new ways, maybe not even with drugs, finances, relationships, trying to control feelings.
So you keep applying those principles.
Yeah.
Honesty, surrender.
Acceptance, humility. Whenever that old thinking or unmanageability pops up, you go back to step one basics.
So practically speaking, day to day, how does someone do step one?
Okay, so honesty. Telling the truth about using, obviously, but also about your thoughts and feelings. Sharing if you think about using.
Even if it feels shameful.
Especially then. Surrender. Stop fighting the urge to control everything. Be open to suggestions. Acceptance. Look at the addiction clearly. No minimizing.
And the workbooks help with this?
Yeah, the Step Working Guide has prompts like, when did I first feel powerless? Or what does surrender look like today? And questions like, what feels unmanageable now? What reservations am I holding?
Concrete stuff.
Very, and actionable things too. Share about step one in a meeting, write about unmanageability, maybe try a surrender meditation. Identify one reservation and talk about it.
Okay, that leads us nicely into step two. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
Yes, and this is vital. Step one leaves you with the problem powerlessness. Step two offers the beginning of a solution, hope.
Filling that void.
Exactly. It introduces the idea that recovery is possible, that the pain and, frankly, the insanity of active addiction doesn't have to be the end of the story. Believing change is possible opens the door.
Now that phrase, power greater than ourselves,
Yeah.
that can be a hurdle.
It really can.
Yeah.
But NA is incredibly flexible here. This power is just something with the ability to help, to heal, calm the confusion, restore sanity.
Doesn't have to be religious.
Not at all. For many, especially early on, the NA group itself is that power, or the program principles, nature, anything that works for you. The point is, it's something beyond your own exhausted willpower.
Okay, so the spiritual principles for step two. Hope. obviously.
Hope is huge, born right out of step 1. Then faith, kind of acting as if recovery is possible, even if you don't fully feel it yet.
Trust.
Yeah, trust grows as you see it working.
Yeah.
Letting go of needing to control everything. And open-mindedness is key.
Willingness, too, I imagine.
Definitely. Willingness to even consider this.
Yeah.
And honesty about where you're really at with belief or non-belief.
And restore to sanity. What does that mean practically?
It's about getting back the ability to make rational choices, live by your values, not just react based on impulse or obsession. The texts say it's lifelong, start small.
Like not acting on the first impulse. Pausing.
Exactly. Making choices that actually help you instead of hurt you. Moving away from that addictive thinking.
So daily actions for step 2.
Cultivate hope. Listen to people share their recovery. Practice faith by trying suggestions, acting as if. Be open-minded about this higher power idea, even if you're unsure.
Let trust build slowly.
Yeah. Little acts of letting go. The guide asks things like, what does sanity mean to me? Who helped restore my hope? Workbook questions dig into, do I believe I need sanity? What does power greater than me mean to me?
And next steps could be.
Maybe start defining what that power means for you. Ask for help daily, even if it feels awkward. Look for evidence, however small, that something outside yourself is helping.
Which leads us to step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. A big decision.
It is. Steps 1 and 2 really set the stage for this. You've admitted you can't do it alone. You've started to believe help is possible. Step 3 is where you make a conscious choice to accept that help.
Turning over your will and life
Uh-huh.
to the care of God as you understand Him. That last part seems important.
Hugely important. It keeps it personal, non-dogmatic. And notice it says care of God, not control. It's about allowing guidance and support, not becoming irresponsible.
So spiritual principles here. Decision itself is one.
Right. Making the decision is step 3. Living it out comes next. Surrender gets deeper here, moving from self-will towards trusting spiritual guidance.
Willingness is still key.
Absolutely. Willingness to allow a higher power to work. Faith and trust are put into action. Commitment to keep making that decision. And honesty about beliefs, doubts, resistance.
How do you live step 3? It's more than just saying the words once, right?
Definitely. Saying a prayer, like the 3rd step prayer, can be powerful. God, I offer myself to thee.
Yeah.
But living it means actively letting your higher power guide you. Staying clean, for starters. Taking sponsor suggestions seriously. Developing that personal relationship with your higher power through prayer, meditation. Giving up the need to control outcomes. And crucially, continuing with the rest of the steps.
Daily practices.
Saying the prayer daily. Maybe picking one specific thing each day to consciously surrender control over. Pausing before decisions, asking for guidance. Maybe an evening review, did I rely on guidance? Or just charge ahead on self-will.
Okay, now step 4. This one sounds significant. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves.
It's a major turning point, no doubt. It's about sorting through all the internal confusion, figuring out who you really are under the addiction, identifying the burdens, resentments, fears, guilt that are blocking growth.
You need the first 3 steps for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Honesty, willingness, faith. They give you the foundation to do this thoroughly and fearlessly. And the texts are clear. Skipping or rushing, step 4. Big relapse risk.
Spiritual principles guiding this inventory. Honesty seems huge again.
Meticulous self-honesty. And courage. It takes real courage to face this stuff. Willingness to do the work. Faith and trust in your higher power to see you through.
Thoroughness.
Yes, looking at everything. Self-knowledge is the goal. Think of it like a spiritual house cleaning.
And it connects to the later steps too.
Directly. Step 4 uncovers the exact nature of our wrongs you admit in 5. It gives you the raw material for the list of harms in 8 and the practice of self-review. That continues in step 10. It's a linchpin.
So the process itself, it's written.
Yes, usually a written inventory. Searching and fearless. Moral here means self-aware, not judgmental. You look at everything, liabilities like resentments, fears, shame, harmful patterns, but also assets, your good qualities, strengths.
Relationships too.
Definitely. Your part in them, past and present. Just write. Don't censor yourself thinking about step 5 yet. Keep at it. Fear is normal. Push through it. Honesty is key. No minimizing, no exaggerating.
And then comes step 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Sharing the inventory.
Right. And this is often called the key to freedom. It's essential. It's not just reading the inventory. The growth comes from the admission itself. to God, yourself, and another person.
Getting at the exact nature, what's behind the actions.
Exactly. The patterns, the motives, the character defects. Why did I do that? What fear was driving me?
Why admit to all three: God, self, and another person?
Okay, admitting to God, it's about humility, speaking the truth aloud, breaking denial even with a power that knows already. Admitting to ourselves may be the toughest. Hearing it in your own voice makes it real, undeniable, forces you to feel the consequences.
And to another human, usually a sponsor.
Ideally, yes. Someone experienced, trustworthy, compassionate. Sharing it out loud breaks the isolation, gives you perspective, helps you see your part clearly, connects you to shared humanity. We all mess up.
What principles get stronger here? Honesty must deepen.
Immensely. Courage to be vulnerable, trust in God and another person, faith, hope, willingness, humility, recognizing you're not alone in your flaws, surrender, self-acceptance, compassion.
Moving to step 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. This sounds like getting ready for deep change.
It's exactly that. It's the bridge between knowing your flaws from 4 and 5 and asking for help with them in 7. It's about achieving genuine readiness, a deep willingness to let these things go.
Entirely ready. That sounds like a high bar.
It does, but it means a profound acceptance and surrender. Not just wishing you were different, but being willing to let go of attachment to the defects, even the familiar, maybe weirdly comfortable ones.
So willingness is the main principle.
Absolutely key. Willingness to let go. And faith-believing change is possible with help. Hope for a better way of being. Honesty, too, about any resistance you still feel.
How do you work on becoming ready?
It's an active process. You can pray for readiness, identify the defects you're still clinging to and why, talk about those fears and attachments with a sponsor, reflect on the pain the defects cause versus the relief of letting them go.
Which prepares you for step 7. Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. The asking part.
Exactly. Step 6 is readiness. Step 7 is the action. Humbly asking your higher power, as you understand that power, to take away those specific shortcomings you're now ready to release.
Why humbly?
Humility is the core here. Not humiliation, but a realistic view of yourself. Knowing your limits, needing help, trusting a higher power's wisdom over your own ego, it flows from the honesty of the previous steps.
Other principles involved.
Deeper surrender. Faith that your higher power can and wants to help you grow. Trust. Patience change takes time. Commitment. Courage to ask.
In the asking itself, how do people do that?
It's an active request. Could be formal prayer, quiet reflection, writing, whatever feels sincere. It's not demanding or bargaining. It's acknowledging you can't remove these things yourself.
You're relying on the higher power.
Yes. Trusting that power knows best how and when to remove what's blocking your growth. Letting God do God's work, essentially. Daily practice helps praying specifically for help with certain shortcomings. Practicing humility.
Then step 8 shifts focus outward again. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all.
Right. Back to the external world, inventorying the relational damage. 2 parts. Make the list. Become willing to repair the harm.
That sounds like more rigorous honesty is needed.
Definitely. And willingness is huge again. Facing the fear, the denial about who you've hurt, courage to look at that list, taking responsibility for your part, humility to see the impact you had.
Making the list. Does it connect back to step 4?
Often, yes. The resentments you inventoried in step 4 can point you towards people you harmed in those situations, but it's broader to individuals, institutions. Anyone affected focuses on your actions, your harm.
And that willingness to them all, no exceptions.
That's the goal. Becoming willing, truly willing, to approach everyone on the list, ready to take responsibility, overcoming the fear, the pride. Reflecting on the harm helps build that willingness. Understanding your feels about it is step 1 to overcoming them.
And then step 9 puts that willingness into action. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others.
The action step. Taking the list from 8, the willingness you cultivated, and actually going to people, making things right. This needs all the groundwork from the previous steps.
Why is this so important?
Freedom from guilt and shame, repairing relationships. The texts say avoiding it reserves a place for relapse. It moves you from just being aware of harm to actively trying to heal it. Restores sanity in relationships.
Key principles for making amends.
Honesty, humility, willingness, courage, responsibility, all crucial when you approach someone. And carefulness, that exception clause, is vital.
Right, except when to do so would injure them or others. How do you judge that?
That needs real care, and sponsor guidance is essential here. Direct, face-to-face is preferred, but not if it causes more harm. Don't confess something hidden just to clear your conscience if it devastates someone else.
What if direct amends aren't possible? Person is gone, situation is dangerous.
Sponsor helps figure out indirect ways. Maybe a letter you share with your sponsor but don't send. Service work. Living differently is an amend. Staying clean is an amend to loved ones and yourself. But fear alone shouldn't stop you if direct amends are possible and safe.
Motive matters too.
Big time. You're doing it to clean up your side, take responsibility, not for applause or instant forgiveness. Let go of expectations about how they'll react. It's often an ongoing process.
Okay, step 10 feels like shifting gears to maintenance. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it.
Exactly. This is ongoing, daily practice. Keeps the spiritual progress from steps 1 to 9 alive. Keeps you in the present. Corrects problems as they arise, stops them building up.
Like a daily check-in.
Sort of. You review your day, actions, feelings, motives. Did I act out of my values or old patterns? Did I harm anyone? Do I need to admit I was wrong? It includes assets too, what went well.
Is it like a mini step 4?
In a way, yes. It repeats 4 through 9, but focused on the immediate present, day to day. Step 4 laid the foundation. 10 keeps the house clean.
And the promptly admitted it part.
Super important. Regular inventory helps you spot when you're wrong quickly. Admitting it fast stops resentment building, yours or theirs. Just a simple, honest, sorry, my mistake, takes practice, takes humility.
What are the main principles here?
Self-discipline, making time for it daily. Honesty, ongoing self-honesty. Integrity, living by your values day by day.
Step 11 brings us back to the higher power connection. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out.
Yeah, building on steps 2 and 3, deepening that connection, improving awareness of your higher power as a source of strength and guidings, finding more meaning. The first 10 steps really pave the way for this.
Prayer and meditation are the tools.
Core tools. Prayer is like talking to God, reaching out, asking, expressing. Meditation is more like listening, quieting the mind, seeking insight, balance. If prayer isn't your thing, meditation alone works.
And the prayer has a specific focus.
Very specific. Knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Not praying for stuff or specific outcomes. It's about seeking guidance for your path and the strength to walk it. Aligning your will with a higher powers.
Key principles.
Commitment to the practice. Humility, asking for God's will, not assuming you know best. Courage to follow that will. Faith. Open-mindedness about how you pray or meditate.
Daily practice look like.
Setting aside dedicated time. Exploring different ways to pray or meditate. Consciously asking for guidance on specific things. Seeking His will, not yours.
And finally, step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. The outcome in the ongoing mission.
Exactly. It starts with the result. A spiritual awakening. Not always fireworks, often a gradual, profound change in how you see and live life. Living by principles, feeling peace, caring about others, gratitude, wanting to give back.
And from that awakening, 2 actions follow.
2 key actions. First, carry the message. Share your experience, strength, and hope with addicts who are still struggling. It's gratitude in action, and it helps you stay clean. We keep what we have by giving it away.
Reduces self-obsession.
Totally. Gives perspective. Sponsoring, sharing in meetings, service work. The therapeutic value of one addict helping another is powerful.
And the second action.
Practice these principles in all your affairs. Take the honesty, humility, willingness, faith, service, everything you've learned and apply it everywhere. Work, family, decisions, challenges, live the message.
So wrapping up these 12 steps, they're really a whole design for living, aren't they? Far beyond just not using.
Absolutely. It's about growth, connection, spiritual development, a comprehensive path.
And it's never really finished, is it? It's a journey.
Always a journey. You keep revisiting these principles, applying them, they stay relevant.
So a final thought for everyone listening. Just pick one principle we talked about today. Honesty, maybe, or surrender, or willingness. How could consciously applying just that one thing change your perspective, or even just your next hour? What would it look like for you?
Yeah. And remember the core message underpinning all of this from NA. An addict, any addict, can stop using. You can lose the desire to use. And you absolutely can find a new, much better way to live. There is hope.
A powerful message indeed.